Good day, good morning, this is E.T. reporting on the world. If you live on the moon occasionally, which occasionally I do, I'm spirited off there, do a bit of cleaning and maintenance by the Iluminati, they've got a base up there, and you watch the human race, it becomes quite a joke. The world has gone quite mad. The human world, that is. The animals are fine, they have a good time, they get around, they live in their innocence, but humans have gone sort of turned the world into sort of an asylum for the insane. There's all these people sitting in these offices called binary trading or whatever it is, and they've spent all their lives, the poor buggers, sitting looking at computers, getting mesmerised by constantly changing figures and imagining the greater the figure they have, the greater the wealth they have, while wasting their life away sitting under fluorescent lamps and then sitting in traffic jams and having the absurdity to go to status-seeking crass restaurants where some nong fiddles with your food and charges you 200 quid for some sort of tiny little bit of fancy decorated food he paid $10 for down the corner shop just to impress his girlfriend, who won't have sex with him unless he has done so. For 200 quid you can get 2 girls and a kebab. So, you know, it depends. And somebody from binary trading rang me and said, would you like to double your lifestyle? I said, well, yeah, how much sex can one have in 1 week? How many cars can one drive? How much air can one breathe? How much booze can one drink before one drives oneself mad into oblivion, wrecks one's kidneys? What is doubling one's lifestyle, for goodness sake? See, because since about 1978, when computers allowed accelerated financial transactions, and certain people have become better and better at this, ever since then the corporate structure has taken over politics. Ever since then, the madmen and women who've got into this, thinking that a few figures on a screen makes them feel wealthier. How small is their world is a big question. How small is their mind? And is there actual damage being done to the mind because of looking at computers for years and thinking, oh, the figures on the computer makes me feel wealthier? And then they go out and eat what? Cheap food from an expensive restaurant. That's feeling rich. Well, it's obvious then that a lot of peasants, people with that much wisdom or experience in life, suddenly feel they're very, very wealthy because some figures on a screen. I mean, you know, how does it make you feel better than anyone else? Some people who've never looked at figures in the screen in all their life feel very, very happy they've got a nice warm fire to sit in front of and a bottle of gin to sit watching television. They feel just as happy, and they may never have looked at a computer in their life. But what has happened since 1978, there's been a massive distortionary factor created by politics who've tried to appeal to people's weakness to become greedier and greedier, which is fed into this idea that, oh, materialism is the only thing that matters, and the government and those associated with it have taken advantage of this to make themselves very, very wealthy, inflated the cost of housing, so now services are becoming very difficult to finance and the whole world is sort of broke. And now it's funny that the whole world is sort of broke. Oh, look, the whole world is sort of broke. Well, that's a bit odd that the whole world is sort of broke. America owes trillions of dollars to whom? America owes trillions of dollars to America. Right, so are they really broke? I mean, what does it really mean? What does it mean for democracy when politicians have put people in this bind and said, no, we have to cut back on services because we've been so dazzled by figures on a screen, we can no longer think straight about what an economy really means, or what it means to look after the people into the third generation. You see, it's called a bad math system. It's a bad math system that's brought them to this particular stage whilst we enter the third phase of employment deficit. As if they never knew that the number of people on the planet, especially in the West, in a post-industrial age, could no longer be employed, and the system they've created, making houses more and more expensive, which is paid for by the fiscal system, creates this debt that they have, and they can't work this out or admit it, and they want you to vote for them. How ironic. Well, there you go. Simple-minded people, mentally damaged by looking at figures on a screen, think they're doing really well because they're eating a fancy restaurant what charges 200 quid for some fancy looking food some blokes fiddle with their hands. He may have been playing with his cock before he fiddled with the food. Who knows, may have been playing with his mate's cock before he fiddled with the food. But there you go. But you pay 200 quid for this dosh, sprinkled food, just to please your girlfriend, otherwise you can't get sex. Well, good God, how cheap has life got? The more expensive they make life to be, the cheaper it becomes, and the cheaper people it attracts into it, because the easier you make it to make money, or look like you're making money, the greedier they get, and it's a negative expansion system that eventually eats its own babies, because within 3 generations it stuffs over the whole system, and this is where we are now. And all the geniuses in the world, Yellen and the central bankers, they don't know what they're doing. No, they've taken advantage of idiots in politics who can't say no to men or women, and they go along and bullshit the public, and the public gets sucked into these deals. In the end, they can't get out of them because they've caught everyone up into a debt trap and a soulless, materialistic system that, in the end, life becomes meaningless, nihilistic. The sport brat generation doesn't care about anything at all other than the figures on the screen. They walk around tweeting all day, and when they die, they'll say, he tweeted, he tweeted, he tweeted, no more. And that's what they'll do 6 years from now when they're all dead, and that's what they've done with their life, is tweet themselves to death. Okay, and that basically describes the last 25 years of politics. They've tweeted the whole economy to death. Thank you. This is E.T. reporting, well, sometimes from anywhere. Depends where I feel like I'm being. Thank you.